Moving on to WAEC 2023 objective question 41. The question reads thus. Say a number is selected at random from 40 to 50 inclusive, so that means 50 is included. Let's find the probability that the number is a prime number. So let's write out all the possible outcomes. That's from 40 to 50 inclusive. So we have 40, we have 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49. And remember, look at the question closely. It says 50 inclusive. Now the question is, what is the probability that the number is prime? Now let's look at what are the prime numbers there. Prime numbers are numbers that are divisible by 1 and itself. So 40 is not a prime number because it's divisible by 2. 41 is a prime number. 42 is not a prime number. 43 is a prime number. It's only divisible by itself and 1. 44 can be divided by 2. 45 can be divided by 5. 46 can be divided by 3, by 2. 47 cannot be divided by anything except itself and 1. 48 can be divided by 2. 49 can be divided by 7. And likewise 50 can be divided by 2. So in this we just have 3 prime numbers. So the probability of prime numbers, P of prime numbers, is equals to the number of prime numbers, number of prime divided by the total outcome. So the total outcome is the number of variables. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we have 11 outcomes. So we have the probability of prime. So it equals to the total outcomes is 11, and the number of prime numbers 1, 2, and 3. So we have 3 over 11, simple as ABC, which is equivalent to option A. Now let's solve WAEC 2023 objective questions 42 to 44 together because they all have the same bar chart included. So let's begin with question 42. The question says the bar chart represents the distribution of marks scored by students in an economics examination. Okay, now the first thing to do is to expatiate on the bar chart. So for the bar chart, we have the marks ranging from 1 to 8 and the frequency of the students that scored those marks. So we have frequency of stored 1 mark, 2, 3, 4, 5, frequency of 6, frequency of 7, as well as frequency of 8. So the frequency of 1, that means those that score just 1 mark, is equals to, as we can see in the graph, is equals to 3. Frequency of 2 is equals to 6. Frequency of 3, 9, 4 is 1. Frequency of 5, which is the highest, is equals to 12. Frequency of 6 is equals to 7. Frequency of 7 is equals to 5. And the frequency of 8 is equals to 10. So 3 students scored 1 mark, 6 students scored 2 marks, 9 students scored 3 marks, 1 student scored 1 mark, 12 students scored 5, 7 students scored 6, 5 students scored 7, and 10 students scored 8. So the total number of students is 3 plus 6 plus 9 plus 1 plus 12 plus 7 plus 5 plus 10, and this will be equals to 53. So let's get rid of this. Now let's begin with question number 1. Question number 1 says if the field mark is 4, that means at point 4, okay, everybody that scores 4 or less than 4 failed, and everybody that scores 5 or greater than 5 is pass. We should find the probability that a student selected at random pass the examination. So it's simple. All we just have to do is to find the probability of pass. This is question 42. Now let's look for the probability of pass. And pass means the student must score greater than 4 divided by the number total. So greater than 4 in this case means the frequency of 5. We also have the frequency of 6 down to 8. Frequency of 6. Okay. Moving on, we have the frequency of 7 and frequency of 8, all divided by the total. So if we look closely now, the frequency of 5 is 12, 7. We have 12, 7, 5, 10. So let's apply that. 12 plus 7 plus 5 plus 10 divided by the total, which is 53. So the probability here now of pass, P pass, probability of pass is equals to 12 plus 7 plus 5 plus 10. This will give us 34 divided by 53. And if we use our calculator, we will arrive at 0.64, which is equivalent to option A. Now there is another method we can use to solve this question, and the formula we'll be using is that the probability of pass is equals to 1 minus the probability of fail. This is statistics now, so we are going to use this formula. So the first thing to do is to evaluate the probability of students that fail if selected at random. Remember, failure is when we have less than or equals to 4, okay, everything divided by the total. So we are saying the probability of 1 down to 4, frequency of 1 plus the frequency of 2 plus the frequency of 3 plus the frequency of 4, everything divided by the total. So the frequency of 1 down to 4, we have 3691. So let's implement that. 3 plus 6 plus 9 plus 1 divided by total, that's 53. And this is equivalent to 19 over 53. So if you apply the formula that we have now, that's the probability of pass, okay, is equals to 1 minus probability of fail. So P pass is equals to 1 minus 19 over 53. So simplifying this further, this means we're saying 53 minus 19 divided by 53, and we take the LCM and we left it 34 divided by 53. 34 divided by 53 using our calculator will arrive at 0.64, which is equals to option A, just as we had earlier, 0.64 and 0.64. Now we are solved for question 42. Now let's move on now to question 43. Question 43. Now, the bar chart represents the distribution just like we had in the previous question. The questioner says, what is the probability, what percentage, okay, of the students scored at most 5 marks? At most 5 marks. So what we are looking at now is at most 5 marks. So that means you can score from 1 down to 5, but the maximum is 5. So at most 5 marks. So you are looking from frequency of 1 down to 5. The maximum is 5. Remember? So let's move on. At most 5 marks. Let's zoom in. At most 5 marks. So we have it to give us frequency of 1 plus frequency of 2 plus 3 plus 4 and 5 included. So what is the frequency of 1, frequency of 2, 3, 4 and 5? So this is 3, 6, 9, 1, 12. 3, 6, 9, 1, 12. So let's apply that here. So we have 3 plus 6 plus 9 plus 1 plus 12. Is that what we have? Yeah. Plus 1 plus 12. And if we resolve this is equals to 31. Now, the question says, what percentage of students scored at most 5 marks? So the percentage of students of at most 5 marks is equals to the number of students of at most 5 marks. Number of students of at most 5 marks, at most 5, divided by the total number of students multiplied by 100%. So the number of students of at most 5 marks, MKX, is equals to 31 students. The total number of students is equals to 53. And we'll multiply this by 100%. So we have 31 divided by 53 multiplied by 100%. If we use our calculator for this, we will arrive at 58.49%. The options given are just one decimal place, so when we approximate this, we'll have 58.5%, which is equivalent to option B. So we have solved question 43, and we also started from question 42. Now let's move on to the last question, which is question 44. Same bar chart, but a different question. The question says, how many students scored at least 3 marks? So how many students scored at least 3 marks? 3 marks. So at least 3 marks means greater than or equals to 3. Okay, greater than or equals to 3. So the number of students that scored at least 3 marks, we have the frequency of 3, okay, plus the frequency of 4, plus the frequency of students of 5, the number of students that scored 6, okay, plus the number of students that scored 7, plus the number of students that scored 8, and we'll sum it up together. So we are looking for the number of students that scored 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, we have 9, 1, 12, 6, 7, 9, 1, 12, 7, 5, 10. So let's apply that. 9, 1, 12, 7, 5, 10. So we'll just sum it all together as 9, okay, plus 1, plus 12, plus 7, plus 5, plus 10. And the total here will be equals to 44. 44 students. So 44 students scored at least 3 marks, and this is equivalent to option C. So we have solved for question 42, 43, and 44. Now let's move on to objective question 45. The question says, if log 3 to base A is equals to M and log 5 to base A is equals to P, we should find log 75 to base A. So we have to express 75 in terms of 3 and 5. And we are going to apply all the laws of logarithm. So let's recall them. The first law of logarithm, that's the addition law, says that log A plus log B, provided they have the same base C, is equals to log AB base C. Similarly, log A minus log B, provided they have the same base C, is equals to log A over B to base C. And if you have log A to base C raised to the power of B, this B becomes a multiplier and becomes B log A to base C. So let's begin. The question says we should simplify log 75 to base A. Now 75 in its own can be written as 25 multiplied by 3. So we have log 75 multiplied by 3 to base a. So this is 25 rather. Is log 25 multiplied by 3. So we will know that this is a and this is b. So we want to apply the first formula, which is the addition law. So applying the addition law now, we have this to be equals to, remember, we'll have log a to base c and log b to base c, but c in this case is equals to a. Then this will be equals to log 25 to base a plus log 3 to base a. So with that done now, we can now simplify 25 further to give us 5 squared. So this will be log, zoom in, 25 is the same thing as 5 squared to base a plus log 3 to base a. So with that done, we will now apply which formula again? We apply this principle of log. Okay, this is going to be our b, this is a, and this is c. So this b, which is 2, becomes a multiplier and multiplies the logarithm, and therefore we would have it to give us 2 log 5 to base a plus log 3 to base a. Now if we go back to the question says if log 3 to base a is equals to m and log 5 to base a is equals to p, we should find what is log 75 to base a. Now so wherever we see log 5 to base a, we make the substitution of p, and wherever we say log 3 to base a, we make the substitution of m. So this is simply going to give us 2p plus m. Let's rewrite this, 2p plus m. And what option is that going to fall in? And this is going to fall into option C, because it's the same thing as writing m plus 2p. So we have option C. WAEC 2023 objective question 46. We are graduating towards the end of the objective section, and the question reads thus: in the diagram, M, N, R are points on the circle with center O. ORN, that's this angle, is 48 degrees. RNM, which is this angle, is 124 degrees. We should find the angle OMN. So we are looking for the angle. Let's use the red. OMN. Let's call it X. Now, how do we solve this? To solve for this angle, we have to know this angle, so that we'll just do the sum of angles in a quadrilateral. So let's call this Y, or let's just call it A for ease of understanding. Now, how do we get A? To get A, we have to know what the value of this angle is. Let's use this is equals to. So we have to know what B is. So that's because we understand that A plus B is going to be equals to 360 degrees angle at a point. Now, we recall that we have discussed on circle geometry before, where in circle geometry we have a circle, and if we have an arc AB, and if this arc projects an angle to the center, AB, it projects an angle to the center, let's call it X, and projects another angle to the circumference, let's call it Y. That's this angle at center, X, is 2 times angle at circumference. Angle at center is 2 times angle at circumference. Circle geometry. So now let's apply this now. we have an arc MR. This arc is called the major arc. Okay, this major arc subtends an angle of B to the center. Okay, and then it subtends an angle of 124 to the circumference. So B is angle at center. Just write it here. Angle at center, and 124 is angle at circumference. So in essence, we are saying that is the major arc MR. So we are saying that the angle at center B is 2 times angle at circumference, 2 multiplied by 124, because we are applying this principle. So in view of that, so B will be equals to 2 multiplied by 124 degrees, which is equals to 248 degrees. Now that we have B, we can now evaluate the value of A. Remember, B now is 248 degrees. What now is the value of A? So let's use A plus B is equals to 360 degrees. I found B, now let's find A. A plus B is equals to 360 degrees. Why? Sum of angles at the point. Sum of angles at a point. So in view of that, what is A and what is B? Okay, we're looking for A. B is 248 is equals to 360. Oops. 360. So our A is going to be 360 minus 248. So we are saying that A is equals to 112 degrees. So if now we have evaluated our A is equals to 112 degrees. 112 degrees. So now, if we look at this rectangle now, okay, or a quadrilateral, we have 4 angles. We have angle X, 124, 48, and 112 degrees. And we know that the sum of angles in a quadrilateral is equals to 360 degrees. So that means we just have to implement that and say X plus 124 degrees plus 48 degrees. Okay, we have taken X, 124 degrees. Now let's take 48 degrees plus 48 degrees plus 112 degrees is equals to 360 degrees. The reason being the sum of angles in a quadrilateral, sum of angles in a chord is 360 degrees. A quadrilateral can be a square, a rectangle, a rhombus. And now we can now find the value of X. So let's use the red. So we have X will be equals to 360 degrees minus 124 degrees minus 48 degrees minus 112 degrees. So when we use our calculator to resolve this, we have X to be equals to 76 degrees, which is equivalent to option A. So we'll see how we proceeded from using the angle at center is equals to 2 times angle at circumference. Then we'll move to angle at the point, and then we'll move to angle in a quadrilateral. Now let's simplify WAEC 2023 objective question 47. We are asked to simplify a question on surds, and here we are given 3 root 12 plus 10 root 3 minus 6 over root 3, and we are asked to simplify this. Now in simplification, we are going to apply the rule of surds, and we have 2 rules of surd that says root AB is equals to root A multiplied by root B, and similarly root A over B is equals to root A divided by root B. So let's begin. Now we can see the least solved expression here is root 3, and root 12. So we'll convert root 12 to root 3, and then we are seeing an abnormality here that we have 6 divided by root 3. However, in solved expression, a solved, okay, let's say square root of this number should not remain at the denominator. This is where rationalization of the denominator come in. So you can watch more lessons on rationalization of the denominator on our YouTube page for more understanding. So let's begin. So let's convert 12 to the basic sort. So now we are converting from single sort to basic sort. Watch more lesson video on that to establish understanding. So this 12 will become 4 multiplied by 3. So we have 10 root 3 minus this 6 divided by root 3. Now we will have to rationalize the denominator. We are going to rationalize the denominator in such a way that we will multiply the numerator and the denominator by the denominator. So we have 6 over root 3 multiplied by root 3 divided by root 3. So let's move on. Now let us apply this rule to this. Okay, so where this is our A and this is our B, so that means we're just going to split it. So therefore this will mean we will have 3 multiplied by root 4 multiplied by root 3 plus 10 root 3, let's put it in bracket also, minus multiply the numerator, so we'll have 6 root 3, and the denominator will have root 3 divided by multiplied by root 3. So in view of this now, we will have 3 multiplied by root 4. Root 4 is equals to 2. So 3 multiplied by 2 multiplied by root 3 plus 10 root 3. Now if we now look closely at this now, we are going to apply the first rule of third to the denominator such that we are going backwards of root A multiplied by root B. So this will result into black minus 6 root 3, okay, having a point issue there, divided by root 3 multiplied by 3. So if we simplify this further, this will give us 6 root 3 plus 10 root 3. The question is already coming alike, minus 6 root 3, okay, divided by root 3 multiplied by root 3 is going to give us root 9. So instead of writing root 9, we can just write 3. So let's write it to be 6 root 3 plus 10 root 3 minus 6 over root 3 divided by 3. So let's just duplicate this for ease, and then we will have it to be equal to 2 root 3. So now we have 6 plus 10 minus 2. 6 plus 10 minus 2. 6 plus 10 is equals to 16, minus 2 is equals to 14. So we have the final answer to be 14 root 3, which is equivalent to option A. So you can see we applied the basic rule of sorts in both cases. Now we are approaching the end of the objective section of WAEC 2023. Let's look at question 48. The question says the truth set of 8 plus 2x minus x squared is equals to 0 is p comma q. We should evaluate p plus q. Now the truth set in this case means what is the solution of 8 plus 2x minus x squared to be equals to 0. So what's the solution to this expression? What are the two values? The two values will represent p and q. So let's rearrange in the format that you are aware of. So we have x squared minus x squared plus 2x plus 8 to be equals to 0. So for ease, let's multiply all through by minus 1. So let's multiply by minus 1, and this will result into x squared minus 2x minus 8 to be equals to 0. Now let's solve this equation. Now to solve this equation, we have to look for the two values such that when we add together will give us minus 2x, and when we multiply together it will give us minus 8x squared, and those two values will be minus 4x plus 2x minus 8, so that when we add these two together we'll have minus 2x. So let's factorize now. Factorize using x, we have x minus 4, and factorize using 2, we have x minus 4 also, and then combining them together, x minus 4 x plus 2 to be equals to 0. So we have x minus 4 is equals to 0, as well as x plus 2 to be equals to 0. So in that case, we have x to be equals to 4 and also x to be equals to minus 2. Now, if you recall vividly, the question says the truth set of 8 plus 2x minus x squared is equals to 0. And the truth set is represented by P, Q. So P is represented as the lower value and Q is represented as the higher value. So which one is lower between minus 2 and 4? So we have P to be equals to minus 2 and Q to be equals to 4. P is equals to minus 2 and Q to be equals to 4. So in essence, we are saying that P, Q is equals to minus 2, minus 4. So the question says, what is P plus Q? Evaluate P plus Q. So P plus Q will be equals to, this doesn't have minus, please. So P plus Q is simply be equals to minus 2 plus 4, and minus 2 plus 4 is equals to 2. 2 is equivalent to option C. So we can see we just took our time to solve the equation, the quadratic equation, using factorization method, made the substitution of P and Q, and we'll have the final answer to be 2. We are wrapping up on the WAEC 2023 objective questions and solution. If you have enjoyed this video thus far, ensure you like, you subscribe, and then share with your friends. So let's solve the second to the last question. That's question 49. The question says, find the gradient of the line passing through the points 1 over 2, minus 1 over 3, and 3, 2 over 3. So we have 1 over 2, 1 over 3, minus 1 over 3, and 3, 2 over 3. So in view of that, we are looking for the gradient. What is the formula for gradient? Gradient M is equals to y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So comparing it here, we will have this to give us x1, y1 as the first point, and x2, y2 as the second point. So let's evaluate the gradients now. So M will be equals to y2, 2 over 3, y1 minus 1 over 3, x2, which is 3. Okay, let's go back. And x2 is 3, and x1 is 1 over 2. So what we just have to do now is to solve this expression of gradient M. So M now will be equals to 2 over 3. Negative and negative will result into positive, plus 1 over 3, and this will be minus 1 over 2. So simplifying the numerator now, that's the LCM of the numerator is going to be 3, and we'll have 2 plus 1. So then we have the LCM of the denominator, since this is 3 over 1, we have it to be 2, and then this will give us 6 minus 1. So this will result into 3 over 3, okay, divided by 5 over 2. So 3 over 3 is equals to 1. Let's bring it down. You just rewrite it, 3 over 3, and this is 5 over 2. So 3 over 3 is equals to 1 multiplied or divided by 5 over 2. So let's change this division sign into multiplication. So we have it to be 1 multiplied by 2 over 5, and we will have 2 over 5 to be the gradient. 2 over 5 is equivalent to option D. So you can see all we just did was to know x1, y1, x2, y2, and apply the formula for the gradient to have the value of m to be equals to 2 over 5. Final question in WAEC 2023 objective section, question number 50. If you have enjoyed this lesson so far, ensure you like and subscribe, and share with your friends. WAEC 2023 objective question 50. The question says, for what value of x is the expression not defined or undefined? The expression is x squared plus 2 divided by 10x squared minus 13x minus 3. So when we are talking about undefined, we are talking about the denominator equals to 0. So undefined or not defined, we mean that the denominator is equals to 0. So we just have to find the value of x for which the denominator is equals to 0. So we have 10x squared minus 13x minus 3 to be equals to 0. So what are the values of x? When we multiply these products together, we will have minus 30x squared. So the factors are such that when we add them together, we will have minus 13x, and when we multiply them together, we will have minus 30x squared. So the factors in this case will be 10x squared plus 2x minus 15x is equals to plus 13, or minus 3 is equals to 0. So the two factors are plus 2 and minus 15. When we add them together, we will have minus 13, or multiply them together, we will have minus 30. So interestingly, we factorize the first two terms by 2x, and this will result into 5x plus 1. We factorize the remaining two terms by minus 3, and we will have 5x also plus 1. Remember, we are looking for the value of x, so we are just solving this quadratic equation. So with that done, we can bring them together, and this will be 2x minus 3 multiplied by 5x plus 1 is equals to 0. So we have 2x minus 3 is equals to 0, and likewise we have 5x plus 1 to be equals to 0. So here we have 2x is equals to 3, and we also have 5x is equals to minus 1. So we have the answer of x is equals to 3 over 2, and also x is equals to minus 1 over 5. X is equals to minus 1 over 5. Let's rewrite this. So with that, we have two values of 3 over 2, comma minus 1 over 5. And this is equivalent to option B.